It is Friday, August 22nd, 2025. Welcome to another edition of Baseball Today, presented by Mountain Dew. If you're looking for a refreshing citrusy kick this summer, go and grab a Mountain Dew, just like our guy, Dalton Feely, who is in for Chris Rose as Chris Rose takes his son Brady back to college. Intern Sawyer and super producer Dan Rourke and an extraordinary blitzball pitcher, Dan Rourke, along for the ride as well. Before the show, Dan was showing us highlights of his new pitch. I can't wait to take that thing so far up top in BB said. But Dalt, thank you so much for filling in. How you doing, my guy? I heard you didn't watch the Diamondbacks game the other night. Are you out?
See, now you're spreading misinformation. This is a very bad start to the episode. I'm not loving it, Trev. Not funny. No, I'm good. Always a pleasure to be on, filling in for Rosie, talking some ball with you, Trev. I have an important question for you before we begin. I don't know if you could see with the lighting. I got a little bit of a beard coming in, breaking the Yankees policy. I know Dan Rourke doesn't love that, but Jolly and Cohen have been saying I should grow out the beard. I don't love it. I need your thoughts as the handsomest guy at the company.
I think you could do it, Dalt. I think you do. I don't think it's your best look, though.
I agree. Okay.
I think you can pull it off. I think your best look is babyface Dalt.
It's on the record. Thank you very much, Trev. No further questions. Oh, guys, stop.
Okay.
I'm ready to talk some ball, Trev. Let's go, babe.
All right, well, we're going to start this episode like we always do with a tip of the cap, and this one goes out to the Cubs. They had a tribute to the late Bob Uecker during the seventh inning stretch of that huge 5-game set against the Brewers, and I think, it's a classy for an organization that had a legendary announcer like the Cubs did as well in Harry Carey. They understand what it means to the people of Milwaukee and what Bob Uecker means to baseball in general. So I thought this was really cool. Him singing the seventh inning stretch in a series that means a lot. I think sometimes there's more than what's going on the field, and to show a tribute like that about Bob Uecker, I think just speaks volumes about the Cubs and their fan base.
Absolutely, Trev. I mean, it's the last game of the season series between the Cubs and the Brewers. They're still fighting for that NL Central. And you know what? As you said, Bob Uecker meant so much to not only the Brewers organization, but just the game of baseball itself. And, the Brewers, has been one of their rallies this year is Brew Leave, and doing it for Ueck. And for the Cubs in the last game of the series to do something like that, a sentimental point for the Milwaukee Brewers fan base and just the game of baseball, I think it was very touching. And, especially we've had so many great announcers, but Ueck is definitely on that Mount Rushmore.
Absolutely. So tip of the cap there. Let's start off with the rivalry. The Red Sox went into the Bronx for the first game of their 4-game set this weekend. It was all Red Sox in game one. Roman Anthony, 3 runs driven in, a massive insurance homer there in the top of the ninth in his first game at Yankee Stadium. Look at this bad boy go. And a little flip there at the end. There's nothing better than hitting a homer, Dalt. And at first, you might not realize you hit a homer. Then quickly, you're like, oh, yeah, that's a homer. And just a little...
He knew it right away.
Right there. That was nice, man. Yankee Stadium, it's fun to hit homers there as an opposing player. I'm sure it's great to be a player on the team as well. Just great crowds. I'm sure it's going to be electric there this weekend. With their win last night, Boston moves to just a half game behind the Yankees in the standings. Look, let's just call it what it is. Everyone wants to know what's going to happen at the end of the series. Who's going to be on top? Are the Red Sox going to host the Yankees instead of the other way around in the playoffs? Ooh. Are both these teams going to make the playoffs? My question to you is, what do you think happens? What are the standings on Monday? 3 games left in this series.
I think this series really comes down to Yankees baseball, and are they going to play good baseball versus quality opponents, or are they going to continue being completely messy and sloppy? To quote the movie The Campaign with Zach Galifianakis, Yankees baseball right now, it's a mess, and it is very sloppy. 4 errors last night, Trev. You can beat some bad teams with Yankees baseball, making those types of mistakes. You're not going to beat quality teams, especially like the Red Sox, in a series that really matters. Like right now, the Boston Red Sox, 6-1 versus Yankees. They've won the last 6 games this season, so they're 1 win away from taking a potentially important tie-breaking aspect of the season series victory. I think it just really comes down to Yankees cleaning up the game. Plain and simple. Per Katie Sharp, this is from last night. They made 4 errors and they walked 9 batters. It's the first time in a Yankees home game that's happened in a 9-inning game since 1912. That is a abysmal, Trev. We're talking about something that hasn't happened in over 100 years within Yankee Stadium. They also lead the league with 3 games of 4+ errors. You're not going to win baseball games like that, Trev. I know you got bashers like Aaron Judge, Giancarlo having an amazing August, and then some other contributors in Bellinger and Jazz. But man, if they don't clean it up within the defense, there's massive concerns, and potentially they might be going to Boston or somewhere else if they don't clean it up.
This is interesting for me. I'm going to focus on the pitching matchups here. Tonight, it is Brian Bayu versus Max Fried. And then you have Garrett Crochet versus Will Warren. Then to end the series, you have Dustin May versus Carlos Rodon. If I'm looking at those, with the way that Max Fried has struggled, I think that you could say, okay, like, I'll call this one a wash. Bayu versus Max Fried, I'll give Max Fried the benefit of the doubt right now that he's going to come back and have a start. Last start, he just hasn't pitched well at all. So I'm hoping it turns around for him because I want to make that one a watch. Garrett Crochet versus Will Warren, I'm giving that to Garrett Crochet. And then at the end, Dustin May versus Carlos Rodon. I think I'll lean Yankees on that, although I do love Dustin May. I think he's a phenomenal pitcher. I'm calling him my new Nathan Eovaldi. I think that's what he's going to turn into. Yeah, I think so.
Nasty stuff.
I think he's just got the stuff. If he can stay healthy, I think he's going to have a long career of pitching really, really high leverage ball games for a contender. And that's basically like what Nathan Eovaldi has done over his career. I go back and forth. I think both these teams have a lot going for them. Yeah, the Yankees can mash. Their defense, suspect, obviously. Pitching can be fine for both of these teams. I think in the end, Dalt, I have this series being split. I know that's a boring answer. So that would make the Yankees at the end of it up 1.5 games. That's my guess.
To answer your question fully, I'm going to have the Red Sox taking 3 of 4. I think they're going to win the next 2 games in a row. I think Fried has really struggled, as you mentioned, but it's like bad. His last 8 starts, a 6.8 ERA, Trev, after a fantastic start. But Brian Bayo at Yankee Stadium, like that, he's been a nasty pitcher in his career at Yankee Stadium. 4 games started, a 1.85 ERA in 24 innings. So he's basically going 6, giving up 1 to 2 runs a game in Yankee Stadium. I think he shoves. Crochet is Crochet. And then Sunday night, they're going to need big game Rodon to avoid the sweep. And I think that's what's going to happen.
And Dustin May keeping the ball in the ballpark, is that like the key, right, against the Yankees? Throw that 2-seam sinker that you got, keep the ball on the ground. Okay, maybe I'll change my mind, Alt. I don't know. It's going to be a great season, or a great series regardless. Make sure you're tuning in. There's a couple big ones.
Mm-hmm.
And with that, we'll get in to the next big one, the Dodgers and the Padres. Another final series of the season is here. This just took place down in LA, where the Dodgers swept the Padres. In between, the Padres took 3 of 4 from the Giants. The Dodgers split 4 with the Rockies, which is not how they wanted that to go. The Dodgers have a 1-game lead in this division race. 3 head-to-head games left. This weekend series really could determine the champion of that NL West. So I'll pose the exact same question to you. Who do you got? What are the standings going to be on Monday?
I mean, I think at this point, the Dodgers are just inevitable. I think that's my favorite phrase for the Dodgers this entire year. With all the injury concerns they've had, they just find ways to continue to win games. And not only just win games, but to win the important games. Like, rewind to last week when they're in LA and they're playing against San Diego. And the Dodgers are on this big cold streak. I think the Padres had won 5 in a row going into that series versus the Dodgers. And the Dodgers said, we don't care. We don't care how hot you are. We don't care how cold we are. This is a meaningful series, and they end up sweeping the Padres in LA. I do think the one big thing, Trev, is the script is flipped in terms of we're now going to be playing in San Diego because the Dodgers are just a 32-31 team on the road, but the Padres are 40-21, a near 6.67 winning percentage. And I am someone who still believes in home field advantage. So I think playing in San Diego, a sold-out Petco, I think vibes will be immaculate. What it's going to come down to is the Friday, Saturday matchups, because Sunday night, Sunday afternoon, I think Nick Pivetta is going to do his thing, one of the best pitchers in baseball. But Yu Darvish and Nestor Cortez, man, Darvish hasn't been right. I know he's shown some flashes this year, but both these guys have a 5+ ERA. Snell and Glass now, man, some of the best stuff in baseball. Obviously, the results can vary, but Snell threw 6 shutout last time. I expect that again. This is tough, Trev, because I want to believe in the Padres so bad because I think this roster is the best it's been, but I still lean Dodgers being inevitable. I think they take the first 2 games of the series and they take 2 of 3 with the Padres winning Sunday night or Sunday afternoon.
So I think this comes down to the first game. If the Padres can somehow sneak out a win and get to Blake Snell, get him out of the game, whatever it is, I think then you could play the momentum card at Petco and they can take 2 or 3 and we can see a division tie on Monday. That's if they win the first game. If they lose the first game, I think there's no doubt the Dodgers at least take 2 or 3 and might sweep. I think this is such a momentum-based matchup right now, especially coming off of a sweep in LA. If the Dodgers come and handily take this game tonight, I think it starts to play in Padres, the players' heads, but almost more importantly, probably the Padres fans' heads. Because they, believe it or not, you could think this is true or not, they impact the game big time, especially down there in San Diego when they come and show the support. I'm not saying they're not going to be out there cheering loud and doing all things, but there's just a vibe that comes along with winning that first game instead of 4 straight losses to the Dodgers. Now you're down 2 games and just seems like it's not going to work out. So I think game 1 is really, really big. And I have a couple things for you. I'm going to bounce off you. Okay. Number 1, Padres. 100 less homers than the Yankees, 110 for them on the year, 210 for the Yankees. They're 29th in baseball in home runs. They have home run hitters on this team. Do you are we regressing to the mean, and are we going to see this Padres team all of a sudden just hit a bunch of homers? They did in game 2. They did in one of the games against the Giants in that series. Or Sheets had 2, or Hearn had 1, Machado had 1. Do you think that happens, or is this just like a season-long homer drought for them?
Yeah, and I think that's a very valid concern, but I do think, like we mentioned, the Padres moves all of August, right? This deadline and what AJ Preller did, getting O'Hearn, getting Laureano, getting Fermin, boosting this lineup. So I think it's going to turn around because they've made some of these acquisitions that hadn't been here for a majority of the season. But like you said, 29th in home runs. It's shocking how good the Padres have been this year with the power outage in San Diego so far. I do think it's going to turn around. I think at some point, like, you're going to need O'Hearn, Sheets to contribute. You're going to need Machado. He's been on and off. Like, there's been moments this year where he's had a power surge and then recently power outage, but he's starting to bounce back after the last couple of games of San Fran. But Trev, I guess my 2 last notes on the Padres right now, like last series, you have guys like Jackson Merrill, Machado, Bogarts, O'Hearn, Cronenworth combined for 5 for 46 in the Dodgers series. That's a 109 average. You can't have that. Merrill's got the ankle injury, but the rest of these guys are expected to play. You can't be doing that. That's 5/9 of your lineup. And then the second thing, starting pitching. Do you know how many pitchers went 4 innings for the Padres during that Dodgers series last week, Trev? We had none. None of the starting pitchers. They had an opener. Vasquez goes 3 2/3.
Oh, didn't even get to past 4 innings. Yes.
Not past 4 innings. So I know the bullpen's been so good, Trev, but the rotation's got to do something, right? You have these 6 horsemen, but they have to go deeper into these games, save these arms into critical moments. Between the power outage and the arms, there is some concern right now, especially how after last series went.
Last year, the Padres 10th in all of baseball in homers with 190.
Wow.
Yankees also first last year. You know who was behind them?
Dodgers.
They were 3rd.
Diamondbacks too?
Diamondbacks were 5.
Blue Jays?
Blue Jays, not even top 10.
Yeah. Who's number 2?
The Baltimore Orioles.
Oh, it's right. Santander's big year. Sure.
Yeah.
I guess not this year. Sorry about that, Orioles. Though they're playing good. No disrespect.
And it is now time for our Like a Bosch Player of the Week, brought to you by Bosch Power Tools. Just like Bosch Power Tools, this player got the job done through hard work, grit, and determination. Who you got for your Player of the Week?
I'm going to the NL West. I know we're talking about it. I'm an NL West guy, Trev, but you know what? I'm going to Kelsey's Rocks. I'm going with Brenton Doyle, center fielder for the Colorado Rockies. 400 average, 3 doubles, 2 homers, 9 RBIs. He 1.1'd it this past week. Since the start of August, Brenton Doyle, a 391 average, leads all of baseball. His 1.155 OPS is 5th best in baseball. And Trev, I think one of the most impressive things with Brenton Doyle right now, with 2 strikes over the last 14 days, he's slugging. This is not an OPS. He's slugging 1.25. By far best in baseball right now. He's had his ups and downs this year. He started off so cold. But he's been kind of crushing lefties this year. It's been a weird lefty-righty split for Brenton Doyle. 330 average, 930 OPS, both third in the National League this season against left-handed pitching. But he's been a big reason why the Rockies have been a solid Major League Baseball team since the All-Star break. 15-17. They've scored 102 runs since August, tied for third most in baseball. Some things are looking good in Colorado right now, and I think one of the biggest contributors is Brenton Doyle, still one of the best defensive center fielders in baseball. These young Rocks are starting to click a little bit, split the series versus the Dodgers. Shout out Brenton Doyle. Shout out Colorado Rockies. Shout out Kelsey Winger.
Yeah, dude, I watched the Rockies play up close and personal. They got some guys on that team that are a lot of fun to watch. I like Jordan Beck a lot. Obviously, like Hunter Goodman, what he can do. They have guys up and down that lineup that you could see turning into something. The pitching is always going to be interesting there. And that bullpen is pretty rough. Although they have some arms, they just haven't got the job done. Brenton Doyle, him and his wife they were pregnant, lost the baby in April, and I think after that he started. Had a really, really tough time. And now to see him kind of coming out of that and performing, and now he's your Bosch Player of the Week. Right. That's awesome, man. So I'm very, very happy. I'm going with America's shortstop in Trey Turner, who has just had an excellent year overall. On the year, hitting 303, 357, 451 for the 808 OPS. And you know why I love that, Dalt? It almost is the exact same as last year's stat line, 295, 338, 469 for the 807 OPS for Trey Turner last year. On the week here, he's just doing it in a time where the Phillies really needed him too. Playing against the Mariners, big series, they end up sweeping. He went 18 for 29 in the week, 2 doubles, 3 homers, or triple, 1 homer and 7 runs driven in. That 1 homer got him to his 1,500th career hit. He's just having a really, really good year. And I love me some Trey Turner, man. Just everything about him. When he's on the field, I like to watch. And he's having a great year and a great week. So he is my Bosch Player of the Week. And today's episode is sponsored by Bosch. When you pick up a Bosch power tool, it makes you feel empowered, confident, and appreciated no matter what job lies ahead. You'll crush it. As a global leader for power tools, measuring tools, and accessories, Bosch's innovative product solutions are built with quality, engineering, and precision in mind. The assortment of products ensures you have the right tools in your toolbox to tackle a variety of tasks with ease. Bosch's 18-volt battery platform powers numerous tools, creating a consistent energy home base that keeps the brand's family of tools running. Like your favorite players on the field, Bosch Power Tools makes sure that you are powered up and ready for anything that gets thrown your way, because the more you Bosch, the more you feel like a Bosch. Head to BoschTools.com today to learn more about the power tools you need to get the job done right every time. Are you a handy guy, Dalt?
The opposite, quite frankly. I'm your, like, if this was a film or a TV show, if I was wearing my glasses, I would be your typical nerd. I'm a big numbers guy, decent with the computer, building anything. No. I could build a talking baseball packet. Pretty good at that.
Yeah, you crushed that. We got to get some Bosch power tools in your hands. Change that.
Need that. Amen.
I feel like you'd be a great home improvement guy. Tool belt on. You need math. You need numbers to build stuff. That's like one of the most important things you have.
Maybe I'm more of like the architectural type and not as much the construction type. How about this? I think that's where a good team, right? Where we could tandem, because I will give you the blueprints, and then that's where you come in. Bosch tools, done.
Okay. Speaking of getting it done, the Orioles got it done with super prospect, now big leaguer for them, Samuel Basallo, agreed to an 8-year, $67 million contract extension. He's played 4 games in the show. You love to see a guy get breaded up like that. He's a pure hitter, Dalt. Has mashed. He's got the power and the plate discipline. Those are the guys that usually get extended when they've shown that throughout their minor league careers. So Basallo comes up. Adley Rutschman goes on the IL, so we are going to see a lot of him behind the plate. He could end up at first base. A lot of people talk about the defense isn't great for him behind the plate. You can learn. He can be better, people. People can improve. Everyone just relax. He's a young kid. Give me your initial reaction on the signing and kind of where the Orioles are at with it.
Yeah, I mean, the first thing, right, is that Basallo just turned 21 years old like 9 or 10 days ago. He's 20.
He was the youngest hitter in AAA.
Yeah, in the International League, he was the youngest qualified hitter. That's amazing. And he was mashing. He gets called up for a reason. And off of that point, Trev, he can get better at defense. That doesn't have to be his calling card because, hey, evaluators think he can hit 30 home runs in the big leagues. Like, if you're doing that, you don't really need to worry about it as much. Worst case scenario, oh, I'm sorry, you're going to be playing first base, but hitting 30 plus home runs in Baltimore. Sure thing. But I love it. I think the funniest thing about this extension, though, I love it for Basayo. 88.5. That's how high it can get up to. It's the largest pre-arbitration extension for a catcher in baseball history. So shout out, a massive deal for him. But I think it's just ironic that the Orioles core, right? Especially when we think of those position players they have: Adley Rutschman, Gunnar Henderson, Jordan Westburg, Jackson Holliday, Colton Cowser. The list goes on and on. That Basayo is the first guy to get an extension, a massive extension. He's the only guy right now that is signed through the 2027 season, not counting these guys who are pre-arb or arbitration eligible. So that's how you know the Orioles really believe in this guy, right? They extend him 4 games in. He was mashing in AAA, 23 home runs in 76 games. Adley gets hurt. You're going to see more of him behind the plate. I love it for both the Orioles saying, hey, you're a good young player. Let's get it done. And for Basayo, you're getting your payday right away. Get that money. Let's go. Good for both. I like it for both sides, Trev.
It's unbelievable, man, to just come up and have that done for you. And again, this isn't just out of nowhere. You have to show that you're that type of player through the minor leagues, and especially now with all the TrackMan through. They're tracking swing path. They're tracking all your metrics. Obviously, they love the guy. Swing decisions are off the chart. I will say this, too. I mean, look, say what you want. Oh, team-friendly deal. That's a lot of freaking money.
It still is.
A lot of freaking money in the United States, and it's a hell of a lot of money in the Dominican Republic. People always have to remember that. Like, sometimes you look at the dollar, and it means more in other places. That's Finance 101, people. Check it out. What's interesting to me about this is you mentioned the core. I didn't know this, and this is insane, Dalt. The Orioles haven't extended a player on their roster since Adam Jones in 2012.
Wow.
What are we doing?
And especially with the homegrown talent you have recently, and they haven't done it.
All these guys should have gotten this type of deal. You should have went the Atlanta Braves route and said, we're going to start signing all these guys. Gunnar Henderson should have already been locked up. They should have tugged on Jackson Holliday's heartstrings after last year and signed him to an extension. You can talk about all the other guys that are there as well. Westberg, like all these guys that came up in this core together. Like, you had an opportunity to do this, and maybe this is the start of it, Dalt. Maybe they're finally saying, hey, this is a plan for us. Let's go do it. Maybe that's what's going to happen here. It's shocking to me. 2012 Adam Jones. The exact terminology is the first long-term extension for an Orioles player since they locked up Adam Jones in 2012.
That's unbelievable, Trevor.
Unbelievable. We got to be better.
Yeah, and it could be better. It could be a domino effect. Maybe we're holding out hope, but of that core, like, now you missed out on the opportunity of Gunnar Henderson, like you said. Like, he's going to want a Bobby Witt Jr.-esque deal. I don't know if he eclipses that, but usually when you wait on a guy, the price tag goes up, especially if you're balling out. But yeah, Trev, what a find. 2012, 13 years ago. I was in middle school back then, Trev.
And Gunnar Henderson, yeah, you're not extending him right now for a team-friendly deal. You're just not. He's already at 4.1 WAR this year. We're talking about a guy that's going to be a perennial all-star 6 WAR guy, essentially. He had a 9 WAR last year. Like, that's just not going to happen. You got to break the bank. You should, by the way. Like, let's lock these guys up. Let's let Orioles fans buy a jersey for once. Sheesh.
I mean, yeah. 2012. Sheesh.
Speaking of 2012, it's kind of like 2012 all over again. The Astros have signed veteran closer Craig Kimbrel to reinforce the bullpen. Yes, after the loss of Josh Hader. Josh Hader out for the regular season. We'll see if he comes back for the playoffs. We'll see how that goes. Craig Kimbrel, he's been in the minor leagues with Texas. He was with the Braves 1 game this year. Took his opt-out, went to Texas. He's been in the minor leagues with them. He's actually put up pretty good numbers there. The strikeout rate is high. The walk rate also high. That's kind of been his MO over the last couple of years. So the Astros are just bringing him in, I guess, for depth and maybe just like the experience factor there. We'll see how that goes. Also in Boston, they're discussing putting Walker Buehler into the bullpen. They got some guys returning. Dick Fitz is there. They have Kyle Harrison from the Ryle Devers trade. So they have some options with that fifth spot. Looks like Dustin May. People were mad that they got Dustin May at the deadline, and he looks like he's going to be a fixture in that rotation. So Buehler possibly ends up in the bullpen. My question to you is, what story, whether it's Craig Kimbrel or Walker Buehler to the bullpen, what story piques your interest a little bit more?
Yeah, Trev, I think I'm going to go with Walker Buehler. And let me just start with Craig Kimbrel, and it's no disrespect to him. I don't find this story that interesting. He's only pitched in one game this year, like you said. I know Josh Hader's hurt, but they've had some dudes right now, and I guess it's for the back end that you might, like, there's not as much experience outside of Brian Abreu. Like Brian King, Steven Okert, Bennett Sousa have been pitching lights out, all with sub-3 ERAs and 50-plus innings this year, but those guys are not used to be pitching in the back end. I don't know if Kimbrel's going to be pitching the back end. I highly doubt it to start anyway, but I find Walker Buehler more interesting because you signed this guy to a 1-year, $21 million deal. He was supposed to be like a middle of the rotation guy. And this year, quite frankly, it's been another brutal regular season, a 5.4 ERA over 110 starts, negative WAR for the second consecutive year. And it's just odd because we saw him last postseason getting it done, 10 scoreless innings to end the postseason, obviously getting the save in the 2024 World Series. I'm curious to see what the Red Sox do in place of Walker Buehler in the rotation if they do go down that route. My hope is Kyle Harrison, the left-handed pitcher that they acquired from the Giants in the Rafael Devers trade earlier this season, because former top prospect, it gives you a second lefty in the rotation with Garrett Crochet. I think that could be interesting. But yeah, Trev, like Walker Buehler, if the Red Sox go on a run, having Walker Buehler's experience potentially in the back end of the towards the middle end of the bullpen could be very useful and could give some depth for a Red Sox bullpen that has been inconsistent, but especially with Aroldis Chapman in the ninth, that part has been locked down.
Yeah, I mean, they have some options there in Boston. I, too, will talk about Walker Buehler. Hey, Craig Kimbrel, go do your thing, big dog. I agree. I don't think he's going to be pitching in high-leverage situations for them. If he does, we'll talk about it then. That'll be awesome to see. For Walker, there is some financial stuff going on here that I thought was interesting. He does have escalators in his contract for starts made. So he's already accrued $1 million in bonuses because he got to 22 starts. He gets another $500,000 for 24, for 26, and for 28. If he moves to the bullpen, he ain't getting those, which, like he's made plenty of money and doesn't need that necessarily, but it still stings a little bit. You're like, okay. But he's given them every reason, really, to push them out of the rotation. And the Red Sox do have, you said Kyle Harrison's a guy. Cooper Criswell's, he's in AAA for them. He's pitching fine. He can come up and fill that fifth spot. Looks like Fitz right now, they're saying, is going to pitch initially out of the bullpen. Then he could be added the next turn through the rotation. So they have options there. But I also, too, remember last year what he did for the Dodgers in the bullpen. Will we see that Walker Buehler again? I don't know. But it is very interesting to me. I want to see what they're going to do with him, because I do feel like it doesn't matter regular season or postseason. He was not going to be in the rotation for like a playoff series. Like he just wasn't. So, this is maybe a little bit money motivated, maybe a little bit performance motivated. But in the end, I am curious to see, is he going to be in the bullpen? Like, is he going to make the playoff roster? Which I'm assuming he will.
I mean, Trev,
this is one of those things, and I forgot to ask you this as we went over the Dodgers. We got these guys who've been good pitchers for a long time. And Kershaw certainly has pitched lights out as of late. Mm-hmm. He's not making a playoff start, is he?
Kershaw?
Yeah.
I think it's going to depend on how he finishes the year, and if there's any other...
like he's pitching now, which is he's throwing great. You think he's going to take a playoff start? You think he's going to pitch over Yamamoto, Snell, Glasnow, or Ohtani?
I think he would over Ohtani. I really do.
A start?
Is that
a piggyback thing for them? Maybe
they do a piggyback thing, and maybe have Ohtani like start with like 2 innings and Kershaw comes in after, which would be that would be electric, Trev, having two of the best players of our generation back to back. I don't think Kershaw makes it over the first three guys you mentioned, Glasnow, Snell, or Yamamoto. But I do think if they need a fourth starter, I think it would be him. I'm curious.
Out on Ohtani, huh?
Not for a long start. I think they might they'd use him for a couple innings, but he wouldn't take a full.
He's built up though. He's throwing.
I think it's also comes down to Trev. I'm going to say it, experience, and it's not on. Ohtani played for the Angels for a long time. He hasn't really pitched in a playoff game, and
I
I
mean,
think.
wait, Dalt, Kershaw's experience in the postseason.
What do you mean, Trev?
I love the guy.
I don't
No disrespect at all. I think Clayton Kershaw, obviously, he's like the left-hander of our generation. Go look at his baseball reference page if you forgot what he's done. But I'm just saying, man. You talk to Dodgers fans. Let us know, Dodgers fans. Is Clayton Kershaw making a start in the playoffs?
Yeah, I'm intrigued. That's a good point, Trev.
Man, we will see. That's going to do it for us today. Dalt, I really, really appreciate you coming on. Chris Rose will be back on Monday for our next edition of Baseball Today. So for Snakes fan, and who's your football team?
We don't need to talk about that, Trev. I'm mad at them, so don't do it.
Who is it?
The Indianapolis Colts. First game
for
was Colts.
Snakes and Colts fan, Dalton Feely, super producer Dan Work, and intern Sawyer. I am Trevor Plouffe. We will see you on Monday for another edition of Baseball Today. Love yous.